Yeah. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Yes, sir. Can everybody hear me just fine? Just getting started out. Well, of course, as you do know, we did have a couple of misses. The Texas Longhorns did. We did have a couple of misses. We did have Cameron Williams is probably the biggest giant whiff the Texas Longhorns did have in recruiting just this past couple of days, as he did decide to go quack quack, go to Eugene, Oregon, and decide to be a part of the Ducks program. So the big left tackle Cameron Williams, right tackle, excuse me, from Duncanville, decided to go to Eugene and be a part of that program, which leads us to what? The main topic of what we're talking about, the two Texas Longhorns that we did get a commitment from yesterday, decided to make a commitment and go on the 40. Of course, young man, no one is new to the program. No one new to my show definitely knows about the young man from Austin Westlake Hills, Connor Robertson, the interior lineman, the three-star product from Austin Westlake, has been multiple times, many visits to the campus. Glad that he did decide to make a final push and make that commitment to the Longhorns, as that we did get a commitment from Connor yesterday. The biggest wall that was standing in the way of Connor Robertson and many times for offensive line recruits, usually left tackle recruits, is going to be Stanford. As man once Palo Alto comes calling, it's hard for the University of Texas Longhorns to compete many times with that, because usually we get those kind of sort of same prospects for offensive linemen, academics plus athletic standards as well. So we have been known to lose offensive linemen to Palo Alto, been known to lose offensive linemen to the University of Stanford. So good to know that we do have Connor Robertson in the fold, as he has been silent for about a couple of weeks now, ever since he did go to make his final official visit in mid-June. And adding the second commitment in the class of 2022, another interior lineman, a four-star product, the first four-star product we've had in the offensive line since the class of 2020. As 2021, we did only have two three-star products. Of course, we did have Hayden Connor from the Houston area, and of course we did back it up from the DFW area from another three-star product in Max Merrill. But our first four-star commit is going to be Cole Hutson from the Frisco football program over there in Frisco, Texas. So holla at you, boy, Texas Longhorns. We did make two commitments. We did get two offensive line commitments. As Texas Longhorns fans, that is going to be the main concern of what we have had, right? It's going to be offensive line. I believe in Coach Sark. I believe in his offensive scheme. I believe that he is a quarterback guru. I do know that he will get top talent at the quarterback position, thus also getting top talent at the skills position. But my main question of concern is going to be offensive line. Texas, the University of Texas, traditionally has whiffed on major offensive line talent, i.e. just look last year and what did happen with the Twins as they picked it up, packed it up, and they moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to roll with the Tide. Of course, I'm talking about the Twins from Fort Worth Episcopal, the number one overall tackle and his number one overall center, talking about the Brockemeyer Twins, who did decide to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and roll with the Tide in 2021, thus missing out on the biggest commitments from the offensive line class just this past season. Herb Hand had multiple whiffs, and the main reason why he is gone is going to be offensive line recruitment and offensive line development, and of offensive linemen not being developed and going into the NFL. So big time commitments from offensive linemen, big time commitments from Connor and Cole yesterday. Excited to have them on the program. So I'm just going to put them up as far as who they are as far as prospects, so that you do Can take a look at them as far as where they are. All right, who we have first here? Yeah, just gonna put up. So first, we're gonna have Cole Hutson. As I did say, that he is a 4-star prospect. He is coming from all the way in Frisco, Texas. He's an interior lineman prospect. He's a big boy. That's how we like him. That's how Coach Kyle Flood likes him. That's how Sark likes him. That's how they liked him in Alabama. So if you see the bigger guys, you see the big ugly guys, we are getting the big bodied of the big uglies. So we're probably not going to get any more of these 275 leaned out developmental type offensive linemen. If we are going to get the developmental offensive linemen, we're going to get the ones that are already the tackle size body, that already have the bigger, already more ready sized strength is what I'm kind of sort of say. And Cole Hutson is most definitely going to be one of those guys. As you can see him, nationally ranked 331 by 247 Sports as a 4-star product. Cole is going to be a product himself of his father, who is going to be a pitcher who made it to the major leagues and was going to be from Arizona State. So whenever him and his father went down to Arizona State, watched some baseball on the 40, and then went back and talked to Coach Kyle Flood, went back to talk with Coach Sark, and that's kind of sort of sealed the deal. As long as with all the other commitments, as long as with all the other recruits that they did have on the fold on the 40 acres that day. So big time commitment for Cole was made whenever he did in fact come to the 40 in his mid-June official visit, and whenever he did go to his father whenever Arizona State played a little baseball there on the 40 as well. So with that being said, excited to have Cole Hutson because we did in fact miss on big time offensive line prospects in this past cycle. So getting a 4-star prospect, getting a 4-star offensive lineman is going to be something that Texas is going to need. But we're going to need more than one. We're going to need more than multiples. We're going to need more than 2. We're going to need 3 or 4, possibly 5 in this class. But I do believe that we are going to get 4 offensive linemen in this class of 2020. So in addition to Cole, we also did back it up. We did also get another offensive lineman. And I did say he is from Austin Westlake Hills, a 3-star commit. Yeah, here he is. But what I do like about Connor Robertson, what I do like about Connor is going to be his versatility. He is listed as an interior offensive lineman. He is listed as a 3-star offensive lineman. But playing for Austin Westlake Hills, he is currently playing at right tackle. So he has started at right tackle as a junior, does play in a primetime program, and does play at the biggest level at that primetime program. As Austin Westlake Chaparrals, man, they back it up with championships. So playing for that championship pedigree, Connor Robertson starting as a junior, starting as a sophomore, most definitely making an impact. And so with that versatility, he can most definitely play all 5 positions on the offensive line. But what his body most definitely is geared towards playing at this moment in time, by the estimations of the experts, is going to be on the interior. With that being said, more than likely right guard. But if you do look at him, he is nationally rated as the 545th prospect, the number overall 20 overall interior prospect. But don't be fooled about that. Connor Robertson was most definitely a take all the way, but definitely a prospect that Coach Sark and Coach Kyle Flood had on their minds for quite some time. So Connor Robinson getting in on the 40, without a doubt, excites me. Without a doubt, having Jacob Sexton is most definitely going to excite me as well, as that is another prospect that I will get into talking about, as he is hopefully next up on the list. Because with this live chat, with this live stream, with this presentation that I do have for you today, I am going to talk about Connor. I did talk about Cole, obviously the 2 commits, but I am going to talk about possible commits that we do have coming up on here in the month of July. So we do hopefully get a few more, because we did miss out on a few. We did miss out on Cameron Williams, the 4-star prospect out of Duncanville. I'll go ahead and toss him up right now, as this is going to look at a big stain from the program, as whenever he did make his commitment, I just have it right here, just give a picture of the big boy, because this was the kind of sort of prospect that Coach Kyle Flood and Sark was looking for. Big body prospect, 4-star out of Duncanville, Texas. We're a little bit late on this prospect, as the Ducks did offer way before 17 months, I believe, was the advancement that the Ducks did have in the lead, did have in the race for the big offensive tackle from Duncanville, 6'6", 360 pounds already. Big boy, already nationally rated as a 4-star prospect. But we did miss out on him on July the 1st. But out with the bad and in with the possible guys that we can possibly get. Talking about Jacob Sexton is next up on the list. He is set to commit today, I do believe. Let me go ahead and check that out. But let's see what kind of sort of questions, what kind of sort of comments you guys have for me in the comment section. Who we got going there? Ben Reeves, hook him up, bro. What's going on, Ben? Yeah, so I do show that Cole Hutson, he was obviously did commit yesterday. Jacob Sexton, I do have him up as a possible commit to the Texas Longhorns. The biggest competition there is going to be no surprise. Our competition, greatest competition to the north, the Oklahoma Sooners, as Jacob is set to commit today at 6:30. Jordan Hutson, the speedy wide receiver who did make his early commitment to the Oklahoma Sooners, made his decommitment just about 4 weeks ago, and he is set to finally commit set July 4th. The crystal ball there, most all crystal balls do point to the ponies of SMU, as it is reported that that Jordan Hutson does like to be a big fish in kind of sort of a small pond up there, and I've been telling people for about a year now that the DFW area is real. The kids want to stay in Dallas. That is real. The billboards over up there. So the momentum, the push, the rise for prospects to want to go to stay in Dallas, stay at home, stay in the DFW is real. It's a great institution, playing some big time football. They're getting some big time recruits. Talking about the ponies of SMU. So those are the people that are hating on SMU, talking about we're battling, missing out on recruits to the SMU, the ponies, not even a Power 5, not even a major program. You should not. They're absolutely building something up there. They do have samples. DFW area guy himself, as his coach, Rashad, is the head coach at Duncanville. So they have a multitude of things going for them. The SMU, the ponies, got some stuff going. So the fact that Oklahoma's, the fact that University of Texas is, the fact that the big boys are now possibly losing to the ponies is absolutely something I'm not shocked with. But that is something real that y'all need to come to the realization if you're not already. But I do see you talking about it, Ben. Dre. I do see you talking about it down there in the comments. The big boy talking about Kelvin Banks, the 5-star recruit. I believe he's number 15th overall in the nation. Oh, that's Derek Brown. He's one of our possibles. Is set to commit on July 4th. That is absolutely right. If I can ever find him. Yeah, nope. So Calvin Banks, I'll just go ahead and throw him up there if y'all want to go ahead and start talking about him right now, as he is set to commit July 4th. He is set to make his commitment to his university of choice. And down to those choices is going to be the University of Texas, the University of Texas A&M, of course, always a big-time rival for Calvin Banks. And now coming up out of the blue, a new-time contender, the Ducks again, quack, quack, coming out of Eugene, Oregon. Maybe these people are making good national letters, national name and likeness kind of sort of deals with Nike. Maybe that's what's pushing them over the top. But making a big time push for Calvin Banks is going to be the Ducks of Oregon. If I can throw Calvin up there. But anyways, talking about Kelvin Banks, what do you think are chances of landing the 5-star product? I don't know if y'all know this. The Texas Longhorns have only landed 4 5-star products since they've been doing the 4 and 5-star rankings and reviews since I believe 1999 was the first year, maybe 2000. So only like 20, 21 years they've been doing them. And Texas has only landed 4. And that's whenever we were rolling with Mac. That's whenever we won our natty in 2005. And a couple of years afterwards, we still rolling in with the talent, especially with the big boys up front. But only 4 5-star offensive linemen that the Texas Longhorns have ever amounted to amass. It only had 4 offensive linemen that ranked 5-star reviews on the 40. And this year, we had the chance of landing 2. Of course, we had the chance of landing Kelvin Banks, which I did just mention. And my number 1 overall recruit in the class of 2022, my number 1 overall get, regardless of position, is going to be the OG, the original gangster from Bowie, Arlington Bowie. He's already rocking the uniform, man. He's already rocking the horns. I'm talking about Devin Candle, the 5-star offensive guard, the bowling ball, absolutely wrecking shop up there. We need to land him, my number 1 overall recruit, regardless of position, regardless of year, really pretty much, as we've whiffed on offensive line recruits after these last couple of years. I talked about the Brockemeyer twins earlier. We whiffed on Savion Byrd. We absolutely got rid of Herb Hammond. He was one of our incumbent coaches that we did in fact hold out for Tom Herman's last year, and he absolutely did us no good. Whiffing on recruit after recruit last season, and we didn't want to see that follow up this season. So, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I was very scared once I did see Big Cam Williams commit to the Ducks at Eugene, Oregon. Very scared. But in case y'all haven't done so before, in case you're new to the program, I am AK Alistair King, the owner, operator, moderator of the Eyes on Texas channel. Just went on vacation about a week ago, went to Puerto Rico. It was absolutely amazing. Haven't been dropping much content as of recently because of that, and I came back, had to settle up a few loose ends. As a family man, everyone can pretty much will understand, but I do try to drop off content as often as I can. So this is kind of sort of stuff you do like. Please like up this video. Give me some thumbs up for all the folks that are up in here. And if you're new to the program, hit that subscribe button and go ahead and hit that gray bell. So every time I make a new video or make a new live stream, you will be notified so you can be a part of that. Today is obviously Saturday afternoon, 12:59 in the PM is what I'm showing right now. But Calvin Banks, Devon Campbell, 5-star commits to the University of Texas has a chance to land, and Devin Campbell did in fact just move up his commitment date that we were just talking about as well. But yeah, he does look good in that uniform, man. Talking about Banks, I definitely do have to agree with you on that, Dre, as he's already rocking the horns, already rocking the burnt orange up there in Arlington Bowie. Love that. Ben, I believe I'm going to talk about one of your guys that you were alluding to about a couple of 3 weeks ago. Of course, if you're seeing there in the comment section, you see Ben Reza 1. He's the owner, operator, moderator of Texas Recruiting and Sporting News. So definitely go ahead and check him up on Facebook. Definitely a cool dude, and get a part of his Facebook program that he's got going over there. Ben Reza definitely knows his offensive line recruiting, definitely knows his recruiting in general, but without a doubt, someone I have known to lean to in the past, was definitely my first friend of the program whenever I made this show over a year ago, and been one of my subscribers since I had like 24, 25 subscribers, something like that. But speaking of subscribers, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and smash that button again. But go ahead, Ben, I believe, is this your boy here? I'm very bad with names. Timmy Gaggriffin, talking about from Leaf Hastings, a 2022 tackle prospect, someone that I've been checking out, someone that I've been looking at. Go ahead and I will talk about him whenever I'm talking about the end of my program here. But without a doubt, someone else I'm going to be definitely talking about, someone else that if we don't get this commitment from today from Mr. Sexton, from Mr. Jacob Sexton from Oklahoma, I do believe that it is going to be an Oklahoma lean for Jacob Sexton, but a possible candidate is going to be that gentleman that I did just say earlier. Ben does not think that we get Sexton. I don't think we get Sexton. I'd say we got about a 30% chance of landing Sexton, although his decision has already been made. Hopefully, we do sign 3 offensive linemen without a doubt. I would love to sign. Obviously, Banks is going to be one of the big time recruits that we have to get as far as offensive lineman. Going to be the number 2 guy on the big board. I would definitely agree with you there. Along with we need the OG, we need the guy Devin Campbell, as he has been crystal balled the Texas Longhorns for such a long time. And for us, for University of Texas Longhorns, to miss on that prospect, to miss on another 5-star, especially someone who has been leaned towards University of Texas for such a long time, again, would be such a big giant stain on the program, a big giant whiff, more egg on our face, and more memes that will be set to pop up on Facebook. There's more stuff that we just don't want to see. More negative recruiting. Texas can't land the big guys. Texas can't land the big 5-star commits. That's something that we need to end this year. And if we could end it this year with those big-time commits from Calvin and Devin, that would be amazing. Ben Reza, he does agree with me on Devin Campbell. He says, I think we get Devin Campbell. I don't think we pull Mr. Dewberry. I do believe that he is going to be an Aggie. I don't believe Cam is going to be a part of our program. I wish him to be a part of the Longhorns. Whenever it came down to the final stages of recruiting, I did think that we would even get Kelvin Banks or Cam, and it's looking like it is going to be Kelvin Banks if in fact we do get one of the two. But Cam Dewberry is definitely someone that I would definitely love to have in the fold. Definitely love to have someone in the program on the 40, the 4-star offensive lineman. Would love to have him as well, without a doubt. Do I think we get Austin Jordan, the safety, the safety out of Denton Ryan? I don't believe the Longhorns have a chance to land Austin Jordan. I think in the fold from the safety position, I do believe we already have one in there. We already have Brian Allen Jr. I believe Bryce Anderson is going to be next to commit from the safety position. If in fact we miss on Bryce, someone else I do in fact love is already committed to the Arizona State. Is going to be a Sun Devil already. I'm talking about LTG, Larry Turner Gooden Jr. Man, love Larry Turner Gooden. If we do in fact get a safety, another safety in the fold, which I do believe we'll get at least one more, I do believe it will be either one of those two. I do believe the fact that we will miss out on Austin Jordan. The recruiters are sure to have eyes on a lot of sleepers that are moving down on the big board. We should have a lot of sleepers. And speaking of sleepers, I'll just go ahead and put them up right now. Since we did in fact miss on an offensive lineman, someone that I think that we should possibly take a look at. We don't have an offer out on him. If you look at him, his name is, that's why I really paused earlier in pronouncing his name, Timmy G. Is going to be an offensive lineman prospect, offensive tackle prospect. And you got to remember what, in fact, Sark and what, in fact, Flood do covet out of offensive linemen. They like big offensive linemen. They like big-bodied offensive linemen. They like the big hands, the big arms. They want the guy that can stretch you and reach you out from across the room, tap you on the shoulder from across the room. And I'm thinking that Timmy might possibly be these guys. He's not the one that's already 300 plus, but those ones that they're going to be 300 plus that can move, that already have the bodies. Those are going to be the ones that are your 4 and top 5-star recruits. Those are going to be your offensive tier guys. The ones that are going to be your ones that are more prospects. The ones that are going to be more on the rise guys are going to be the ones like Timmy. Are going to be like this one individual here. I did run across Timmy on a film when I was looking at Tyler, this other gentleman, this other wide receiver prospect, speedy wide receiver prospect, running a 10.21. Tyler King, out of the same Houston area, out of the same Houston area high school, out of the Leaf Hastings, speedy wide receiver. But back to Timmy, someone that we need to circle around to, back to the wagon is maybe going to be this individual. Someone, so if Texas misses on its first couple of offensive lineman candidates on the outside, that this is someone that we might circle back to. Timmy G, let's just go ahead and call him. 6'6", 290 pounds, so he's already close to that size. I didn't get any measurables
I love it whenever these guys throw the shot put and throw the discus as well, such as Connor Robertson, who is good at the throwing events in track and field. But if we're going to look to someone as a possible someone that we miss, someone else that we need to look to is possibly Timmy G out of Leaf Taylor out here in the Houston area. But is that one of the guys that you told me about, Ben? Is that one of the guys that you pointed out to about 4 or 6 weeks ago? Someone that I should possibly look to as far as rising offensive linemen. You told me about a couple of guys, without a doubt, over this past year. And I think that was one that you brought me into, without a doubt. Denton Ryan's in it. Man, I would love to get a pipeline of some of these top programs in Texas. Would love to get a pipeline going in Denton Ryan. Would love to get a pipeline going into South Lake Carroll. Would love to get a pipeline going into a lot of the Houston area programs. Would love to get a pipeline, of course, going into Duncanville, Deville. Would love to get into Rashad Sample's good side, so we can start getting those DFW kids. DFW kids come strong. That's an area that the University of Oklahoma has been plucking out for years. Alabama has been plucking out recently. And all these top 3, 4, and 5-star recruits have been going there for years. But talking about guys that possibly that could be committing for the University of Texas here recently for in the month of July. Nobody in particular, because I'm not really good at picking up guys. Let's just see who we have next. Yep, so we have Derek Brown. Derek Brown is going to be an edge rusher. He is going to be from Texarkana. Going to be from the same high school that the edge rusher came from just this past year. Fringe 4 or 5-star commit player that went to the University of Oklahoma. So Derek Brown, a little bit on the lighter side. You can see he's right around 210 pounds for that 6'3" frame. He is set to commit. Derek Brown, what do I have set to Derek Brown? Is set to commit July 20th. So Derek Brown is set to the middle to the end of this month. Coming out of Texarkana, what I do like about him is he is that edge rusher, maybe at that possible jack position, as he is showing the ability to play a little bit of the linebacker, dropping back in space, and playing in coverage as well, making some traditional linebacking plays, reading his keys as far as the run game as well. But more likely going to be an edge rusher set to grow that frame, put a little bit more weight on it, a little bit more strength on him. What I'm set to Derek Brown is whenever he gets to college, that he is more than likely going to be a redshirt candidate wherever he does go. Hopefully, where he does go is he does go to the University of Texas. As the other candidates up for his recruitment, without a doubt, is going to be the University of Oklahoma, as they are the major contestants for many of our prospects, as of our main competitors of the north of us. Always are tough to get out of prospects, as they've been laying a pipeline in the University of Texas for their university for many years now. I'd love to put an end to that. I'm sure every single one of us in here would love to put an end to that. But Derek Brown, an edge rusher from Texarkana, Texas. And I do love the fact that they are just calling them edge now, just like they do in the NFL whenever they are going to the NFL draft as well. They're no longer calling them defensive ends or outside linebacker kind of sort of prospects or just athletes. Just the guys that are defensive linemen. They don't know if they're going to be defensive linemen on the edge or defensive linemen on the defensive end. So they are just calling them edge rushers now, just like they have been doing in the NFL for a couple of years now, a number of years now. So I do like the fact that they are doing that as well. But if we can get a commitment from Mr. Derek Brown, another 4-star commit from Texarkana, Texas, add him to the fold, add him to the class of 2022. Would love to have him. Derek Brown set to commit on July the 20th. Mr. Derek Brown. So this is going to be Jordan Hutson. He is going to be a recent decommit from the University of Oklahoma. The 4-star recruit from Garland, Texas, is really highly touted in this community. Really highly touted for many programs. Was a really early commit to to the University of Oklahoma. So it's not very much surprising that he did in fact decommit from that program due to the main fact that he didn't see very much. He didn't make many visits. He got a quick offer, got a great offer at University of Oklahoma, turning out top-end recruits, turning out top-end wide receiver recruits for many years now, but he did make that commitment kind of sort of early. So the fact that he did go ahead and decommit from the University of Oklahoma wasn't very surprising to others, to myself and others. With that being said, he is considered a strong lean to the University of Southern Methodist. So the Ponies are looking to land this big fish in a small pond, kind of sort of what I was alluding to when I was talking about Jordan earlier. Is he's not afraid to be a big fish in a small pond kind of sort of guy. Doesn't necessarily want to sharpen against iron against other top-rated defensive backs while he's going up against practice every single day. Jordan Hutson, he is set to make his commitment here in just a few days. Tomorrow, actually, July 4th. So July 4th night, while the fireworks are going off, boom, boom, boom. Look for Jordan Hutson to make his commitment. More than likely to the Ponies, but if it does, the tides do change. If the winds do sway towards the University of Texas and he does land on the 40, would absolutely love to have him in the wide receiver class. But Jordan Hutson set to make his commitment July 4th, whenever the fireworks are going off at 8:15. Holla at your boy. Who do we have next here? Yeah, so KJ Miles. KJ Miles is a strong lean towards the University of Texas. He has been crystal balled to the Texas Longhorns for quite some time now. The New Jersey City product is a three-star four-star recruit. He is going to be another defensive lineman, more than likely going to be a defensive tackle prospect, as he is in the range of the 300-pound range. What I do like about KJ is on his film is he plays everywhere on the defensive line. That's why he's just listed as a defensive lineman. Plays on a line when there's 3 defensive linemen, or when there's more of a traditional line where there's 4 defensive linemen. Can play at absolutely any single gap. Can play on the edge. Can play in the nose. KJ Miles, without a doubt, love his versatility, and he has been a strong lean towards the University of Texas ever since the new regime has come into the fold. Ever since Sarkisian has come into the fold. Loves what Coach Bo Davis has to offer out for him. Loves what he's talking about him. Our defensive line coach, without a doubt, has been bringing the wood. I do believe the fact that the recruits are loving the fact that he is recently coming from the Detroit Lions, and the fact that he is coming from the University of Alabama as well. So Bo Davis making an impact on the recruiting trail, making an impact on a recruiting trail for the defensive line, which is he is set to coach. So without a doubt, love the fact about KJ Miles. He is a fringe 3-4 star prospect, but without a doubt, someone that would love to have into the fold. And as far as KJ Miles, I told you all whenever he is set to commit. He is set to commit as well, July the 4th. Don't have a time set for KJ, but hopefully we'll be able to a little earlier than 8:15. That at the same time that Mr. Jordan Hutson is set to commit. So hopefully KJ Miles lands to the good, lands to the University of Texas, as he is a defensive line prospect, highly touted, and someone that this staff would love to have in addition to myself. Yep, so it's good. Throw him up there. So we're talking about this individual. Oh, this is Kelvin Banks. This is if you want to talk about must-get prospects, a must-get prospect for the University of Texas. 5-star recruit. If you look at that, nationally rated number 14th overall, regardless of position. Nationally rated 14th overall player, has been a 5-star recruit ever since he came to the national scene his sophomore year. Big frame, big body. Love what they covet as far as an offensive lineman. A big offensive tackle position is going to be Kelvin Banks, as he has the frame, he has the hands, he has the wingspan, and he has the ability to move that big frame along with some strength. Right at 300 pounds, 6'5". The offensive tackle is going to be from Humble, Texas, as it is coming down to the Aggies down south of us in College Station, our #1 competitor in state for prospects. And coming out of nowhere yesterday, as far as everyone is concerned in the recruiting ranks, as far as I know, is the Ducks of Eugene, Oregon, who already did land a commitment from Cameron Williams. Already did take Cameron Williams out of the state of Texas. Did pluck him from the Duncanville program. So hopefully they will not pluck another offensive lineman from the great state of Texas. Hopefully he will stay loyal to the soil, and hopefully the side of the soil that he stays loyal to is going to be up on the 40 acres and not a little bit more down south in College Station, as Calvin Banks is a 5-star recruit. As I will reiterate that on the 40, we have only had 4 5-star recruits, period, as a program since they started ranking these recruits. I've only had 4 offensive linemen that were nationally rated as 5-star recruits. Man, that is absolutely crazy if you consider all the guys that we've had here. That's back when we did have Matt Brown. That is back in the day whenever we were in 2005 competing for national championships. When we did win our national championship in 2005, when our program was soaring, was flying much higher, still only was able to land 4 offensive linemen that were rated that high. And this year, possibly landing 2 would just be absolutely be through the roof. Would absolutely end a lot of negative recruiting towards the University of Texas. Would absolutely end of hopefully be the end of Texas's reign of top tier offensive lineman. Going 1 in the draft, as Kelvin Banks is more than likely going to be a first-round pick. Going to be a very highly picked in the NFL draft whenever he does come out in 3 to 4 years, as he does have the size. He does seem to have that commitment to football. And if you look at his crystal ball leads there, it is 60-40 to A&M. It is a coin flip on Calvin Banks. That was before this push before Eugene, Oregon, and he did say the fact that he wants to push up his commitment date, as I believe he was set to commit on July the 24th, I believe, but he did set his commitment date. He did push it up to July the 4th because he wants to bring more folks into the fold. So the more folks that he wants to bring into the fold are these other commitments that I'm going to be speaking to you of today, like KJ Miles, Jacob Sexton. Are those the guys that he's talking about? Is he talking about bringing in the fold Derek Brown? Those kind of sort of people. Some offensive skill positions that we don't know about, or is he talking about bringing into the fold up in Eugene? Is he talking about bringing up into some of the fold for Ducks? Or is he talking about bringing into the fold down there in Aggieland and College Station? You know, that's the reason why he said that he wants to jump up his commitment. That is why he said he jumped up his commitment date. Talking about Kelvin Banks. So he is set to commit on July the 4th. Hopefully it will be the Texas Longhorns. Will the Texas Longhorns get him? I don't want to say for a fact that we do get him. Would love to have Kelvin on the 40. Cannot reiterate that enough. Would love to have a starting offensive left guard as Devon Campbell with the left tackle of Calvin Banks coming in the same class. Would absolutely love to have that. Would absolutely love Cole Hutson to be that starting center. Jake Major is going to hold that down for a while. Absolutely doing a fantastic job. No disrespect on Jake Majors, as he is looking to be a primetime prospect and a primetime recruit and a primetime player into the Big 12, and hopefully have a great impact, continue to have a great impact for the Longhorns and college football in general. So do not want to discredit him. Talking about Mr. Majors doing a great job at the center position, but that is where Mr. Cole Hutson does want to play, does project to play, and it'll be great for him to play for the University of Texas. With that big body, he is more of a mauler, does play a bit of a run-only wing T style of offense. So he is more of a phone booth style of player, has played more in that style of play. Very smart individual. If you want to be a center, that is where you need to have the smarts. That is going to be the toughest position to play in the estimation of most, mainly to the fact that you're making the calls. You're the one making the reads for the other offensive linemen. You're the anchor of the offensive lineman. You're the guy in the middle. You're holding on to the ball. You have to do the snap count. You have to first snap the ball, then you have to move, make your read, make your hit before you have a 300-pound man trying to jump in your lap and destroy what you're trying to do. So offensive center, you can be smart, play in a phone booth, and have the strength. So that's where Mr. Cole Hutson definitely does set to project to. Would love to have that. So with that being said, Calvin Banks, would love to have him on the 40. Would love to have him in the mix. Primetime player, primetime prospect coming out of Humble, Texas. Please commit to the horns, Mr. Banks. Yep, so who do I have next? Coming from Edmond Creek, Oklahoma. For coming up there from Soonerland, the big boy, another offensive lineman, offensive tackle prospect, 6'5", right around that 300-pound range as well. Because like I said, all these guys are going to be the big hand, big wingspan, big-bodied offensive prospects on the offensive lineman, the offensive tackle position that can move their bodies as well. And Jacob Sexton from Edmond Creek, Oklahoma, is going to be another one of those as well. Nationally rated as a 4-star recruit himself. Is as you can see there, he is number 236, rated by 247 Sports, and number 24 overall at that position at offensive tackle. But he is set to be a lean towards the University of Oklahoma. So if all signs are pointing where he is set to go, where he is set to be, it is leaning towards the University of Oklahoma up at this minute. But Mr. Jacob Sexton, he is set to make his commitment July the 3rd. So he's committing today at 6:30. So those of you need to have your eyes peeled onto Jacob Sexton when he does make that commitment, because the fact that we did miss on Cam Williams, the fact that big boy Cam Williams is quacking up in Eugene and not up on the 40 increases the need, increases the covet, increases the want of Jacob Sexton to the University of Texas. Make no doubt about that. The fact that we missed on big Cameron Williams, we did secure our interior guys and Mr. Robertson. We did interior and get another interior guy, Mr. Cole Hutson, like I spoke about earlier. But Jacob Sexton, Kelvin Banks are our number 1 and number 2 guys on the outside on the offensive tackle position, which makes him even more coveted, even more desired now. The fact that we have lost Cameron Williams to the Ducks. So Mr. Jacob Sexton coming out of Edmond Creek, Oklahoma. Deer Creek, Oklahoma, out of Edmond, Oklahoma, without a doubt is a lean towards the Sooners. We'd love to have him in the fold. As you can see, he's nationally rated as a 4-star recruit. Sorry, I just had that last bit hard to get now. Sorry. But Jacob Sexton would absolutely love to have him on the 40. Love to have him on the fold. But man, talking about guys that we do have on the fold, big time excited to have Mr. Cole Hutson. What are y'all thoughts on these guys that we did recently get, man? What do we think about it, man? What do we think about Mr. Cole Hutson? What are your thoughts about the interior guys that we did, in fact, just get going today? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Cole at this moment in time at that center position, because he is projected to want to play center? Said he'll play center or guard, but is really wanting to play center. And the fact that he's wanting to play center and taking on that big challenge of the hardest position on the offensive line, by my estimate, does say a lot about his personality and his commitment to football in general. But without a doubt, someone we need. So I hear the Speedy German in there, Mr. Michael Schmidt, saying that you do not understand why Texas passed on Sexton. Man, I heard about that. I did hear that there is some sort of talk that Texas did pass on Sexton, but now who do we pass on him for? The fact that we missed out on a Cam Williams only reiterates the fact that this is the guy that we're doubling back to. Kelvin Banks is not 100% guaranteed towards the University of Texas. So how is Jacob Sexton not a take? Why would we pass on a Jacob Sexton? It makes absolutely no sense to me at all. I have heard those talks on the boards. I don't agree with that at all. Just like I didn't hear or agree at all about slow playing Connor Robertson. The fact that he was a 3-star commit and that we need to save room for a more highly rated, more coveted interior guys. Whenever that was our guy, smart individual, going to be from a family of a from a Texas family. Need to continue that pipeline from the university from Austin Westlake Hills. It's our last commit from Austin Westlake was Sam Ellinger as far as a commit as far as an offered commit as far as a scholarship offered commit all the way back to Sam Ellinger. So reiterating that pipeline is absolutely fantastic. So the fact that people saying that Jacob Sexton is not a take, I just can't agree with that. I just can't see that in any way, shape, or the form. The fact that people are saying that and that has been thrown out there, I have seen it. I just can't see in any way, shape, or form that holds any water or any truth. But I haven't heard that. Dewberry is looking less than secure, without a doubt. Cam Dewberry, he is looking more gig him every single day. He looks more like he wants to gig him in a College Station down there in Aggie Land. From what I'm hearing, from my personal opinion, from what I'm hearing. So the fact that Dewberry, that's where he's going. So why is Jacob Sexton a pass? How is that even a possibility? I absolutely don't understand that in any way, shape, or form. How that could possibly even be a thought. But I'm not bagging on you, Speedy German. You know what I mean? I love you, buddy. But I just don't see how that can possibly be a thought by anybody. But I do see there's 14 people in here. If you're just now getting in here, please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up in this piece, as there is 14 people in here and I only have 6 likes. If you can give me a couple more of those, I would very much appreciate that. In addition, if you are new to the program, if you are new to my live streams, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, if you would just go ahead and hit that button right there. It's hard to see it. Yep, you just go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I would also appreciate that as well. As I do try to upload as much as possible. I do upload live streams as well. I do monologue videos, and I will have the highlight videos rolling as well, just as soon as I get a couple of things more straightened out as well. But this time, man, what are the questions you guys do have? Keep it rolling. Love to see you up in here. Speedy German, always in my live streams, always in the live the live chats. Always good to see you here. Billy Gamble says, we need the big boys. We need all of them. We get up front. I agree with you, man. So the fact that we were slow playing anybody, the fact that any of these guys are possibly a non-take for me out of the ones that we are in consideration with, the Banks, the Dewberries, the Connor Robertsons, the Jacob Sextons. The fact that we'd be slow playing any of them, I really wouldn't understand at all, especially after losing Cam Williams. Especially after the fact that we did only have 2 3-star offensive linemen last year. We had Hayden Connor, 3-star commit, smart kid, going to be a science, not a science, an engineering, space engineering kid at the University of Texas. Very smart individual. Max Merrill from Dallas Jesuit, 3-star commit. Great smart kid, needs to fill out that body a little bit more, without a doubt. But I need to not miss on those big guys. Dre, can you answer my question from 10:52? All right, I'm scrolling up, Dre. Banks is committed on July the 4th. He said that. He looks nice in that uniform. All right. So why people say that this coaching staff did more with less talent when they come to Austin? The same people doubt the coaching staff. So what Texas needs to do to answer your question, they need to win on the field. There's going to be a lot of these big-time prospects. A lot of these big-time prospects need to see the product on the field. They need to see the fact that Texas is winning on the field. They need to see Sark's system on the field. They need to see the wide receivers flying down the field. They need to see his RPO running smoothly. They need to see the offensive linemen progressing. They need to see these everyone in the run game. These running backs want to see a 1,000-yard rusher every single year. that is what they want to see. What the big time prospects want to see is it on the field. Like ultimately, like answer your question, you're talking about this coaching staff's ability versus the old coaching staff's ability, and that is like your overall question, right? And also, whenever you are going to have coaching change, whenever that is going to change over, you are going to have people that are want to see it. There's going to be lots of excitement. You're going to get lots of recruits coming over from the West Coast that are recruiting that Coach PK has brought over as well. We've got lots of recruits come over from Alabama that Coach Sark has brought over. There's going to be a lot of these guys that once those lines of communications are cut, whenever whenever the old coaching staff is gone, those lines are severed. And with some of these kids, that those lines of communications can be resewn, and some of them they cannot be. And some of them with Cam Williams, the fact that University of Oregon up in Eugene, the Ducks, they went quack quack, and they spoke to him before University of Texas, and they kept that line of communication going. That is why they ultimately won the commitment of Cam Williams. That they can also push Nike. That's probably something else they're selling hardcore. Something else they can sell to offensive linemen, especially big-bodied offensive linemen, was Penei Sewell, the offensive lineman they had drafted really high, top 4, 5, 6 in the NFL draft this past year. He was the number one offensive lineman guy in a lot of people's boards for a long time. So they have that to push as well. So University of Oregon does have that working for them. But as far as comparing one coaching staff to the other, and as far as why are they saying one can and one can't, that is what the University of Texas does need to do. They flat out need to win on the field, to win over some of these big-time prospects. So a lot of these guys like Devon Campbell, who we've been leading for such a long time, he's not set to make his commitment until the middle of football season at least. He wants to do his official visit during the football season. I do know that. So a lot of these guys, they want to see the product on the field first, flat out. The COVID restricted everyone's ability to see recruits, to see the campuses, for college coaches to have their eyeballs actually on them and to see their measurables. Yeah, this guy really is 6'6". He really is 310 pounds. Nah, man, no, you're not. You're only 6'4", 295. You know what I mean? That does happen. To actually have them come to these University of Texas camp, see how fast they run, compare them to other athletes, and that's why you see a lot of guys going up, you see a lot of guys going down, you see a lot of new recruits coming into the fold, such as Tyler King from Leaf Taylor, and the wide receiver. Another guy that's also coming to mind is the wide receiver who decommitted from Kansas because his film started blowing up. Once camp started blowing up, he was able to go to camps. People would start to see that speed. Now he's more recognized as a four-star defensive back, so he's no longer going to be with Kansas. He's more longer going to look at a more prime-time major program. So the fact that it was shut down, and the fact that now recruits can see these college campuses, they can see these college coaches, and the fact that we're seeing them not have to do everything by Zoom is a big thing. But these major prospects, man, they're just going to need to see it on the field. So does that answer your question, Dre? I mean, that's just the best way I can answer your question. That is a great question, man. Because that is what you have been hearing. What does this coaching staff do versus this old coaching staff does? And what I am hearing, what they are doing, it seems to be the personal communication. It seems to be the fact that they are relaying, conveying real personal knowledge, real personal NFL knowledge. Coach Bo Davis, offensive line coach, came from Detroit Lions, has that background. Steve Sarkisian obviously has that background of being the offensive guru and a quarterback guy, has a quarterback whisperer. So anytime that we're in need of a major primetime prospect at that position, at that quarterback position, we're going to get one, period, every single time. May not be the number 1, 2, 3, 4 guy, but we are going to get a top tier quarterback every single year. And he got his a guy that he believes it is in Malik Murphy. We all need to roll with Malik. We all need to ride with Malik, and that's how I personally see with that. So the fact that's what we need to do with these major prospects is they need to see it on the field. All right, Texas needs to get Green. Yeah. So you talked about Green and AGB Agabo. I know that he's another big-bodied offensive tackle position. He's set to commit fairly soon. I know he is either committed to Florida State right now, or is a heavy lean towards University of Florida State University. I do know that is someone that they have been talking to as well as far as a fallback position. But one of the guys that I was speaking about earlier, that a candidate that we might need to look at a fallback position, and I did have him up earlier, and I'm just going to call him Timmy G because I'm terrible with names. Is going to be Timmy G from Leaf Hastings, right out of the Houston area. He's kind of sort of what the University of Texas looks for as far as an offensive lineman is concerned right here, because he's 6'6", already right around that 300-pound area, which we do like. I don't have any measurables on him as far as arms or anything like that, but he does seem to appear to have that big body. The film that I do have seen on him, that big body does in fact seem to move fluidly quite well as well. So that big bodied frame for Timmy. You can see who's offering right now: Arkansas State, University of Houston, Ole Miss, Tennessee. So a couple of big boys from the SEC are starting to take a look at him. So his stock is probably on the rise already. So the fact that Texas has not offered him could be already out. In fact, the big boys are already come calling. But the University of Tennessee, they're going to have a hard time pitching recruits after their scandal that they've had, firing their head coach and paying players in McDonald's bags, as well as losing their quarterback Saltier to this past couple of weeks. Kicked him off the program. They're going to have some problems as well. Ole Miss, they're always going to be a tough sell for offensive linemen. The SEC does well in the offensive lineman category as well. So the fact that Ole Miss is probably going to be a heavy lean in his recruitment, talking about Big Timmy. So if the university wants to potentially look for potential misses, potential candidates, in fact they do miss on Dewberry, Banks, and some of their other offensive lineman tackle positions, some of the outer guys, the big body tackle positions, I do believe that they should look for Timmy here by my estimation. So that this might be someone definitely worth looking at. Once Sark and company show what they can do here, the recruits will start to roll in. I think that's kind of sort of the plan. So I think the guys that we are getting right now, the Jaden Blues, the Malik Murphys, those top end guys right now, the Brian Allen Juniors, those are going to be the ones that are easy sells to the University of Texas. Those would be hard leans. Those are the ones that you're probably like Sam Ellinger, as far as like you saw pictures of them as a kid with their dads throwing up the horns up with the Texas Longhorns gear. Those are going to be the guys that we're getting right now, the earlier commits. As far as the top end guys, the ones that are going to want to see it on the field are going to be the wide receivers. Definitely going to be the offensive linemen. Obviously, Devon Campbell wants to see it on the field. The top end wide receivers, they're definitely going to want to see it on the field. We did get that commitment from Winfield at halftime, or on his way to. It was on halftime during the national championship game. We did in fact get it from Winfield, the 4-star smooth outside wide receiver from near my hometown here in Louisville. But most of these guys, they are going to, without a doubt, see it on the field, and I understand why. You know what I mean? They are making their big time commitment. They are making their big time move in life, and they want to get wine and dine. And they want to make the best decision for themselves. They want to sit down with their parents. They want to check out all the boxes, and they have not had the time to do that. That's why June was such a crazy time. There's lots of movement in the month of June. Lots of people, lots of kids making official visits. Lots of prospects making unofficial visits throughout the week. It was crazy. Now we have this dead period for the whole month of July, except for the second to last week, I believe. I believe maybe the 19th to the 24th, something like that. I do know that there is another live period in the month of July. Besides that, no official visits, no on-campus visits for this month. It is considered the dead period without a doubt. So with that being said, that's why you're seeing all these July commitments. So already committed to talking about commitments. June 30th, Keenis Thompson committed to University of Central Florida, the defensive line prospect that the Longhorns were in line to get as well. But he ended up being going to the Knights of Central Florida. They were in on him much longer than the University of Longhorns was, and that's why he ultimately went and landed there. Talking about misses, talking about big time misses, the one that hurts the most right now, without a doubt. But that Texas has in fact missed on, and again, going to the other Tito SU, the OSU, man, getting another one from the great state of Texas, plucking another one. Probably the number one, number two overall corner in the great state of Texas. A lot of people have Denver Harris. Some people have Terrence Brooks. But Terrence Brooks committed to Ohio State June 30th, just a couple of days ago. Man, this was a big-time miss. A lot of people thought that it was coming down to either University of Alabama or the University of Texas. The Longhorns missed out. Tuscaloosa missed out and ended up going to Ohio State. So Ohio State gets another son of Texas, get the number one overall player in Quinn Ewers from the great state of Texas already. They get the number one / number two, however you view them. Cornerback from the great state of Texas here in Terrence Brooks. We might have a chance to flip him. You know what I mean? This guy might be one that can stay in his ear hole, keep that line of communication going, see it on the field. He might want to stay a little closer to Little Elm. He just moved out there. I do know that he was out there in John Paul, out in high school in Plano, I believe. Terrence Brooks is going to be his first year playing out there in Little Elm. So, Terrence Brooks and their son of Texas going out to the Ohio State University. So might possibly get a chance to flip him with play in the field, as the University of Texas and the state of Texas in general has been known to have great defensive back play from all skill positions, cornerback, safeties, nickels, great defensive back play overall from University of Texas and Texas in general from that position. So big time miss, big time something that hurt us very much. In my opinion is Terrence Brooks without a doubt. So let's see what we've been talking about. All right, so what's our some of these guys that we offered, they knew we weren't going to get them. Yeah, I mean, it's just like Ben. It's just like what Michael Jordan said. You know, talking about the guys that we knew that we weren't going to get them. Talking about, it's called going big game hunting. It's kind of sort of referred to in the recruiting world. You know what I mean? I'll just quote Michael Jordan. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, Ben. You know what I mean? That is something that you do need to take into consideration. And once you get to talking to these kids, once you get them on the campus, you don't know what's going to make flip their lid. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going to flip their script. But you know what I mean? You don't know what's in their head. These kids are 16, 17, turn 18 years old, Ben. You know what I mean? You really can't say what 100% they will and 100% they won't do. I would say probably the greatest example of that is Skinner, Jaleel Skinner, I believe his name is, the tight end prospect, the number one overall tight end prospect. He made his way to on a visit in June. No one knows what's going on with him. If you look at his crystal balls, I believe he's all over the place. I believe he's crystal balled to 3 different schools right now. So, you know, a lot of these people, you know, you don't know exactly what is going on with their heads. So why not take an offer? You know what I mean? Why not throw out an offer on the top number one overall player? Why not give him a call, man? Why not? You know what I mean? All he can say is no. You know what I mean? All the pretty girl can say is no. You know what I mean? She's not going to hit you and slap you over the face just for asking her out. All she can say is no. Uh, yeah, exactly. See what you can hit. Exactly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you are agreeing with me, Ben. Exactly, dude. And you cast a wide net, and that is what they have been doing. So they're talking about in-state prospects versus out-of-state prospects. Let's talk about that. A lot of people are upset at this coaching staff and the fact that we are going after out-of-state prospects. Well, we haven't been getting in-state prospects. We haven't been getting the top level in-state prospects. Thus, let's go get some out-of-state guys, right? So let's talk about all the misses. For years, Ohio State's been plucking from Texas. Alabama's been plucking from Texas. USC traditionally before that has been plucking from the state of Texas. It's been happening for years. If the great prospects from the great state of Texas aren't coming to the 40, if they're not enrolling and signing on the dotted line with Texas, go elsewhere. Look elsewhere. And that is what this staff does have. That is what our coaching staff does have. And we got it in folds, man. We got it in every shape of the form, from East Coast to the West Coast. We got it on the pro level. Coach PK on the defensive side of the ball, he's obviously a West Coast guy, without a doubt. He's Coach Pete Sark, obviously a West Coast guy as well from the great state of California. Has ties from on the professional ranks. Has ties from the University of Alabama. We have Coach, I believe, Coach Banks has a lot of New England ties over there on the East Coast. You know what I mean? So, and of course, obviously being from the great state of Texas, we are in a great target-rich environment ourselves. So we're going to get the Texas recruits will come. They will stay loyal to the soil. I think a lot of the big-time prospects from Texas, they're going to be the ones that want to see it on the field first. You know what I mean? Also, to point a note, also don't think a lot of the big-time prospects are being sold to Aggie. I don't believe they're also being sold that Aggie is building this great regime. That they really haven't done a lot. They don't really have any Big 12. They don't have any SEC titles to show for it. They did finish nationally ranked number 5th. That is without a doubt. But they got bushwhacked by Alabama. I believe that LSU team was probably the poorest example of a defending national champion we've ever seen. They went 5-5. They missed out on one of the Mississippi schools. I believe it was Ole Miss. They missed out on playing them. That was probably going to be an L. So they got lucky whenever they played Florida. A lot of their players were missing. I'm not bagging on Aggie by any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying I don't believe that a lot of the in-state recruits are 100% sold on them. Wide receiver position for Aggie is always going to be scarce and is always going to be harsh. They did just lose a commit from that position as well. So that's going to be my thoughts on that as well. But one thing that we do have that I was just alluding to, that Ben was just alluding to, talking about spraying a shotgun, or however he say it, is we are casting the wide net East Coast, West Coast, and in our target-rich environment. JC bring us possibly with a little harder to bag these guys without having the real bag man. I know, man. It seems that the real bag man definitely got caught over there at the University of Tennessee. He got caught slinging McDonald's. The University of Georgia bag man seems to be very, very well. He seems to be doing a good job. I'm pretty sure the bag man's pretty mad about Bear, though, about him flipping his decommitment, his commitment, and flipping his script and probably going towards Aggie. But talking about bag man, Alabama's probably got a good bag man. But probably the number one bag man in all of college football right now is going to be in Athens, Georgia, I would have to say. That's kind of the idea until you can recruit like Bama or Clemson. Right, yeah, you know what I mean? I think I saw a stat that 51% of all the 5 stars that go to Alabama are first-round draft picks. Compared to everyone else that I think is 24%, 24, 23, 24, somewhere in that range. And Alabama's sitting out there at 51%. And one of their guys was the first pick in this year's second round, so that would have swayed it even more. So yeah, so whenever you're selling that, whenever you're selling the fact that all these guys are going to be first round draft picks, that you got a 50-50 shot, that's big. So without a doubt, so we're far from Clemson and Alabama. But what I do believe is going to level this playing field is going to be this 12 team playoff. More than 4 teams are going to get in. More than 4 teams are going to get a shot, and this less of the talent are just going to go to these 6 teams. You know what I mean? It's very obvious that everyone's going to Ohio State. It's very obvious everyone's going to Alabama. It's very obvious that everyone is going to Clemson, as well as going to LSU, Georgia. Georgia's been recruiting their asses off for years, but with no national championships to show for it. That Bagman has been working great for years down there in Athens, but no national champions to show for it. Jay said, I always wondered why Hand was good at Auburn, not so good at Texas. Well, actually, whenever he left Auburn, a lot of people were talking about, good riddance, good luck, because they knew kind of sort of what Texas was getting whenever they said that the writing was kind of sort of on the wall, you know what I mean, that he was a bit of a lackluster individual. The motor wasn't necessarily really going, you know what I mean? So you can cut at those things on your offensive lineman. Always have your motor going, always having your legs turning and stuff like that. But he didn't necessarily back that up himself. So whenever there were people that were excited about whenever we did get Herb Hand, there was definitely writing on the wall from some of the Auburn faithful saying, yeah, they weren't really all that they weren't really all that unhappy. Let's just say whenever Herb Hand was let go by the Auburn Tigers, that is something that I do remember. So the fact that whenever he was hired, that already heard the negatives about Herb Hand, but you're going to hear that anyways, right? So anytime anybody changes a new position, someone's always going to have something negative or something positive to say. There's always 2 sides to every story. Is kind of sort of what I'm going to here. You know what I mean? So whether it's positive or negative, there's always going to be 2 sides to that story. And so I talked about with Herb Hand, but he didn't do necessarily a good job for the University of Texas. He didn't do necessarily all that bang-up job over at Auburn as well. So I did hear some of that sort of negative stuff about Herb Hand whenever he was arriving to Texas. And I wouldn't exactly call it whiffing. It takes a shot if you call it a whiff. Some chatter with your name. You want to be on social media post. What? I don't know what you mean by that. So you're saying that it's not exactly whiffing because we got our name out there is what Ben's saying. I guess is what he's saying, and he is right. You know what I mean? I guess that goes with any kind of publicity is good publicity. So anytime you're offering these recruits, other linemen see what it is your coaching staff is doing. I guess what is Ben is alluding to there. Whenever they make tags, and that is passed around social media, and which is the idea of social media in general is to pass around, exchange information, and several forms of several different forms. So I guess by that example, casting a wide net isn't necessarily whiffing by Ben's estimation, because you are getting your name out there, you are getting your image out there, you are getting your likeness out there. Things that are there you go. I just turned my volume up, so hopefully that's a little bit better. So that is something that that is also getting out there. The name, image, and likeness is definitely a big thing. And what is going to be a big thing, and I was kind of sort of thinking about, is what's Nike going to do? Because Nike obviously does have a big control with Eugene, Oregon. Does have to show some sort of faith to the Ducks, right? But they do have contracts with many major universities. Obviously, the University of Texas. You know what I mean? This name, image, and likeness thing. It's just interesting to see how much they are going to exactly help the University of Oregon only, or they're going to cast their wide net equally. I doubt they're going to keep it equally, but just be interesting to see exactly what they are going to do. Yeah. So talking about the name, image, and likeness kind of sort of thing. But what are your kind of sort of thoughts on the next couple of commits? Do you think that we get Brown? Do you think, what are your things? What are your thoughts on Dewberry? What are your thoughts on Banks? Who else did I talk about earlier? What do you think about Hutson? You know what I mean? What do you think about Jordan Hutson, the speedy coveted wide receiver coming from Garland? What do you think he's possibly going to land? You know what I mean? Which one of these guys do you think that we need the most? What are your thoughts about the guys that could potentially be the next 2, 3, 4 guys to commit? What are your thoughts on that? How many linemen do you think we take? Because we have 2 in the bag right now. I'm possibly thinking it's definitely a 4 to 5 year in the offensive lineman part. Can't hear me very well. So that's good. So without a doubt. So what other questions you guys got going on right now? That was it as far as the whole presentation for you. Just kind of sort of recap as far as people that are going to commit that Texas are in the running for today and as of recently. So Jacob Sexton, the big-time offensive lineman prospect from Deer Creek, is going to be from Oklahoma, is going to be set to commit today, July 3rd at 6:30. So keep your eyes and ears peeled to that. Jordan Hutson, the SMU lean, the wide receiver. He is a 4-star wide receiver from Garland. He's going to be set to commit July 4th at 8:15. So right whenever the firecrackers are going boom, 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 Jordan Hutson should be making that commitment. And that commitment is probably going to be to the ponies of SMU. KJ Miles, the defensive lineman from New Jersey, New Jersey City, New Jersey, is set to commit as well. That one I do feel very strongly about. Talking about KJ Miles, I do feel that he has a pretty strong lean towards the University of Texas. And so I do feel good about KJ Miles. Also on July 4th, a big-time recruit, and probably the biggest recruit that we will have on committing during in July is going to be Kelvin Banks from Humboldt, Texas. Talked about him earlier, 5-star, number 15 ranked prospect overall in the nation, in the class of 22, regardless of position. Without a doubt, a must-get for the University of Texas. Must-get, whatever. You know what I mean? That is kind of sort of a cliche statement. This is a must-win game. This is a must-get recruit. But if Texas were to not land this commit, not with Ben, but if Texas would not land this commitment, it would be a big-time factor for the University of Texas, and we'd have to possibly start exploring other offensive tackle bodies, other big-bodied, edge-bodied offensive tackle guys. So without a doubt, Kelvin Banks, someone that the University of Texas should be to come down the pike. Barrett Brown going to be committing July 20th, without a doubt. The edge rusher coming from Texarkana, Texas. The edge rusher / outside linebacker can play a little bit of a versatile defensively for his team and collegiately on the next level. That's going to be the reason why his recruitment is skyrocketing up so much. That's why he is a 4-star prospect. He is set to commit on July 20th. So the question was by Billy Gamble, man, what's the big? Who's our next commit? I think our next commit is going to be KJ Miles tomorrow. I do think that we are going to miss on Jacob Sexton today. I do see him committing to the Sooners today at 6:30 p.m. I do see that happening. So with that being said, man, I would say KJ Miles, the defensive lineman, he's a fringe. I know on some sites he's a 4-star, some sites he's a 3-star. So he's a fringe 3-4-star guy. Defensive lineman product coming from the East Coast. I'd say is going to be our next guy to land. I would also say the same thing. Would love it to say Kelvin Banks is on that list too, because he also would be committing July 4th. So I would love to tell you that I think the next person to commit would be Kelvin Banks, but I believe unfortunately it is going to be KJ Miles. I do feel strongly, but man, I would love to get both those guys tomorrow. And if we get Jacob Sexton from from Oklahoma, and hopefully he won't commit to the Sooners today. That'd be fantastic as well. Keep your fingers crossed. That's right, Billy. Man, if those of you are just now climbing on here, man, please subscribe to the channel, man. Please support me. I would very much appreciate that. There's 19 of y'all up in here right now, or concurrent viewers. Give me some likes on there. I would very much appreciate that. I am going to be wrapping it up. KJ Miles is probably going to be my pick as far as the next commit, without a doubt. Justice Finkley. I know. I love that fact that Finkley and his mom loved what they saw whenever they went to the 40 acres, whenever they went on their first official visit. And the other bonus about Justin Finkley, and something else that would be another feather in our cap, is he's from Alabama. He is right in the heart of Alabama, and plucking a 4-star recruit, plucking a top, I think he's nationally rated in 220, somewhere right in there. So plucking Justice Finkley from the great state of Alabama, like they have done to us so many times over the years, these other big-time programs have done over the years, and it's a position of need. Absolutely love that. And if those of you don't know what we're talking about Justice Finkley. He's a defensive line prospect, can play all over on a defensive line. Probably looking to be a defensive tackle prospect. He's not anyone that can just play one single gap. He does read his key. He does read on the way to the quarterback, without a doubt. He does play the run on the way to the quarterback, as it is kind of sort of said about a defensive lineman. So absolutely love to have Justice Finkley, and Ben Reesley, you were absolutely right on point about that as well, about his mom being loving the program as well. I love it whenever the parents come on a campus. That's a big sign. Like, that's a good sign whenever you're seeing these recruits on campus taking pictures, throwing the horns up with the cowboy hats with mom and dad in there, man. That's awesome. Because you know us boys, anytime that we're bringing mom somewhere, it's something serious. You know what I mean? Because all of us are a bunch of big old mama's boys at heart. So anytime you see one of these offensive linemen that are 6'9", 480 pounds, and they're standing right there next to their beautiful mother, you know it's something special for him, and you know it's something special for his family. So without a doubt. Brennan Thompson's mom, without a doubt, is big time into the University of Texas as well. Brennan Thompson, he just released his top 7, 8, something like that, this past week, and of course the University of Texas made that. Brennan Thompson is the speedy wide receiver from Spearman. Those who don't know what you're talking about, when I say speedy, man, I mean speedy. I believe he ran a 10.31 in the 100 meters, Probably one of the fastest big-time playmakers as far as the top level of recruits in the nation. Right up there with Evan Stewart. Probably has a step on Evan as far as overall flat-end top-notch speed, but Evan Stewart's definitely going to have him in the short range speed, and coming in at routes and jumping for those 50-50 balls. But yeah, without a doubt, Brennan Thompson's mom loves the University of Texas. Love to see him on the 40 as well. That's right, Dre. Let's start an Alabama pipeline when we're talking about spreading your wings, shooting your shotgun spray, going coastline to coastline. Why not make a pipeline into Alabama? You know what I mean? Just what we were talking about earlier. If these top recruits from the great state of Texas don't want to come to the great state of Texas and don't want to go to the 40 and be a part of the Longhorns, get it from somewhere else. It is time to do that. We can't worry about the Texas High School Football Coaches Association, what they think about it. It's a great organization, a great group of men as well. So with that being said, we can't be worried. We'd be worried about them being salty about not recruiting their players when their players aren't coming to the University of Texas. That only makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So without a doubt, I do see that as well, and I do see that happening. As far as making a pipeline into the great state of Alabama, with Tuscaloosa, and then of course having Auburn in there, they're going to have something to say about that as well. But if we can go in there and every once in a while pluck in a 4-star recruit or maybe a 5-star recruit, that would be awesome. That would be something that we could look forward to. Fighting True said, Ben Reza, PK's defense is more than just opportunistic. He gets stuff to run to. The more you watch the schemes, the more you impress me. Yeah, the thing about PK is he's really defensively, he's a front 7 guy, without a doubt. interchangeable parts. He likes to put pressure on the offenses. He likes to show them multiple different things. He likes to change up on the schemes, and he likes his defensive backs to have the ability to play the safety, to play the cornerback position. He wants them to be versatile in a one-on-one. Because at the University of Washington, I believe he didn't actually name his positions in as far as defensive backs. I think they were just called defensive backs. Nobody was named a cornerback or a safety. I think they were all named DBs. So versatility is something that is incumbent by pressed upon very much by Coach PK. But man, that is pretty much what's going to wrap me up, fellas. Y'all have any more questions for y'all? Any more questions for me right now? Probably just going to go another 5 more minutes. And what other questions you have for me in this next 5 minutes, I will absolutely. Thanks a lot, Billy. Appreciate it, man. Tell all your folks, man. Tell everybody you know, Billy, to like and subscribe to the Eyes on Texas channel. I do try to produce content as often as possible. With that being said, I did just come off of vacation, so I haven't been dropping it as often as I would like to. So yeah, I do college football content, Texas high school football content, live streams, and monologue type videos. This kind of sort of stuff you do like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like me without a doubt. Very much appreciate that. Thanks again, Billy. But yeah, also check out Ben Reza. He is going to be Texas sporting and recruiting news. Definitely a good, informative guy. Definitely knows his stuff, especially about recruiting and offensive line recruiting especially as well. So anytime I have an offensive line recruit as well, someone that I definitely hit up. So I'm definitely going to ask Ben what he thinks about Big Timmy G from Houston, from Elite Hastings High School, as a recruit, possibly that the University of Texas will get down to if we do in fact miss on some of these prospects, because we can't land them all. You know, the fact we can't land all the Dewberries, we can't land all the Banks. Hopefully we land Jacob Sexton today. He's probably Oklahoma born and probably Oklahoma bred, and that's probably where he's going to stay, man. So that being said, yeah, Jacob Sexton probably. That's right. And don't forget hit the like button on the way out. That's right, Billy. So I pretty much I end all my videos pretty much all the same time. In life, you don't know who is ever going to come at you. You know what I mean? It could be a family member. It could be someone that you know and love. It could be an absolute stranger. It could be someone on the football field. You know what I mean? You don't know who it's going to be, and you don't know how they're going to possibly come at you, man. So without a doubt, you always need to keep your eyes and ears open. You always need to keep your head in a swivel. You always need to keep your eyes and ears open. Life will definitely take many twists. Will definitely take many turns. You don't know exactly what's going to come of that, man. So always keep your head in a swivel, man. Always keep your eyes peeled. Always paying attention. You do not know who is friend, who is foe. Not saying this to be negative. Not saying this to be informative by any stretch of the means. This would be all things that we do know. This is something that does apply in life, and is something does also apply in the football field without a doubt. So something that I always try to say to people every single time, and let everybody know, to please always keep your head in a swivel, your eyes on Texas,